Assembly Bill 436, which will acknowledge classic cars and cruising as an important expression of art and cultural identity for many of us throughout California. So we are here for AB 436 today. We are here because we believe that cruising is not a crime and that the art of classic cars and lowriders is embedded in our culture, and we are proud of that.
Excuse me on the tier, Saladino, program time.
Yo, mi pan seco, flow, despa, mi salud y respeto, vole. Greetings to all my gente out there. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. Hey, what can I say? Welcome to Hoodwise, homie. For those of you who are just passing on by, hopefully you guys are able to push that red button. Future spills that are gonna come by, you might get the notification. Y si no, pues ni modo. Today, I want to talk about something very important in the Chicano community, in the Mexicano community. Is cruising a crime, homie? Man, I don't think so. Well, with that said, ¿sabes qué? We're gonna, what is it that La Raza has been able to do to legalize cruising once again after so many years? And of course, I'm gonna give you guys a little story on my personal experiences back in the days when we used to go cruising. So stay tuned, kick up your feet, get your pisto, spark up your churrito, get comfortable, ya sabes, homie. Cubo, vámonos recio. Cruising's not a crime, homie. I look at it like this. You work hard for your money. You use your money to put in and buy expensive material, equipment, tools to get your car, to get your project going. At the end of the day, the results don't lie. Beautiful creation, beautiful art behind these lowriders. A lot of these cars are classics going back to the 50s, to the 40s. Man, we got a very beautiful creative mind when it comes to customizing these beautiful classic cars. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I'm gonna share a little bit of my point of view with the low riding. Mis respetos to all the car clubs out there. Y mis saludos, ya sabes, big time. Tip my hat if you do own a low rider, you know, because I'm sure it takes hard work and dedication. I want to dive in and go through these legal experiences our gente went through. I'm sure there was a lot of paperwork being filed. Like I said it before, no, we don't need to make noise, breaking windows, vandalizing car buildings. No, we can make noise in a very classic fashion. The raza, we carry ourselves with the utmost class, and that's the way it should be. We're men of class. We got women of class. Mira, watcha, I'm gonna review this little report real quick. Oh, California is the birthplace of low riding culture. You know that. I know that. Modifying cars with advanced hydraulic systems and elaborate paint jobs, taking them on a slow cruise down a main calle. For me, I'm from the A1A, I'm from the Valle. I mean, I grew up cruising the canyon for sure, but the calle is called Laurel Canyon. I've heard from older homies that the cruising started on Van Nuys Boulevard in the city of Van Nuys back in the days. That would probably be before my tiempo. I hear now too that cruising's back and it's going way back to its roots, which is Van Nuys Boulevard. When I started cruising, Laurel Canyon would get blocked here and there, and because of gang activity. Unfortunately, the gang life got mixed up with the lowriding culture. That kind of fucked it up for all of us. So I believe that was a big part of lowrider becoming illegal in California because of gang members con su desmadre, gang banging, fucking it up for the vatos that really work hard and invest on their cars. Now that I'm older, I see this now. I'm hoping in the future to invest on a car, and I'm gonna put in a lot of my time, a lot of my feria, hard-earned money, and I ain't trying to just take it out there and end up messing it up, having someone vandalize my ranfla, or getting bullet holes on it, crashing off pedo. Nah, hell no. Easy come, easy go when it comes to money. So when you work hard, it hurts. So you value what you invest on. ¿Entiendes? So check it out. According to this article, certain lowrider vehicles are illegal in California, and many cities still have bans on cruising. Some Golden State lawmakers want to change with a new bill that would end restrictions on lowriding and effectively legalize cruising across the state. Our tagline is cruising is not a crime. You hear that, homie? Brown is not a crime. Cruising is not a crime. ¿Quién dijo? Assembly member David Alvarez, who sponsors the legislation, told the NPR the proposal would do two things. First, it would end restrictions on lowrider vehicles in California state law. Second, it would end any limits on cruising on California streets. Cities, towns across California are currently permitted to pass their own cruising bans, which several have done. Jovita Arellano with the United Lowrider Collision said at a press conference that she's been cruising since she was a young girl and supports lifting the limits on a pastime. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with lowriding. I just see it a bunch of gente working hard, being responsible, getting their feria and investing it on a dream, on a wish, on a desire, on a piece of art. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with showing off what you created? What's wrong with showing off what you believe in? What's wrong with showing off on what you customize? I thought we live in the land of the free. Freedom of speech, equal rights y la chingada. It says the passion for cruising has never left my heart. It's part of who we are, and unfortunately right now on the books it's being criminalized. Arellano said we cannot do that. We cannot criminalize our culture. Lowriding is part of the Chicano culture now. Raza movement. You hear me? Cruising and lowriders both have their roots in post-war Southern California, where Chicanos made an art out of car customization, means of socializing, and community organization. But among outsiders, lowriding developed a reputation of clogging traffic and having links to gang activity. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, we got some, homies that are doing okay financially back in the days, and they were able to afford their lowriders. Or maybe were able to make it look like they were lowriding, so to speak, kind of cheating, Instead of hydraulics, take off the blocks of the round fly. Remember, we'll be in the back seat, fucking jumping up and down, trying to make the car move, like it had hydraulics and shit, trying to impress the ladies, pero pendejadas we do as kids and shit. In the 1950s, California enacted a state law regulating lowriders. The late 1980s, state began permitting cities and towns to put in place cruising bans over fears of traffic, congestion, and crime. Lowriders have long argued that the ordinances designed to curb cruising unfairly targeted Latinos. It had to be a Mexican. Wow. California legislature unanimously approved a resolution urging towns and cities across the state to drop their bans on cruising. Bueno, el tiempo pasa que no. The reality is that people who are spending their time and their money in their cars can be very expensive. They are not individuals who are looking to do any harm, said Alvarez, which is a very good point. I just mentioned that. Acknowledging that this activity is part of our culture, especially when it's a positive activity. You look at someone that is driving a lowrider. Let me rephrase that. You look at someone that owns a lowrider and is driving it. He worked hard, not only saving up his money to invest on his car, but his time, dedication, desire, his passion. It's almost like a kid, bringing out your toy every weekend, every now and then. For those of you who own lowriders, I know you guys could relate. To continue, I guess in some places it's legal, some places it's still a little, illegal. The last no cruising zone sign came down in San Jose, California. California. You hear me, homie? Man, I said we go to fucking San Jose mañana. By the way, big saludos to the homies up in San Jose. All my sureños up there. Much love right here from Manny the Jaguar Man. What's up, man? To my homeboy Nene. What's up, homie? Solid ass homie right there. One of these days we're gonna fucking plan a road trip up there. So the no cruising signs came down in San Jose, California last month to the applause of the lowriding community who can now freely enjoy their passion on public roads. Come on, man. Let's get an applause. So I'm happy for you homies up there. Cruising was illegal in 1986 due to its association with gang members. However, the cruising ban that arguably did little to hurt the popularity of lowriders is now lifted in California. This move answers calls for equality, as many argue it was wrongfully targeted to Mexicanos. Lowriders are heavily modified classic cars featuring hydraulic suspension systems that allow them to bounce, lower or lift each wheel individually under the driver's command. More bounce to the ounce. Some Zap and Roger, you know. This car culture started back in the 40s by Mexican Americans, popularized in the 60s and in the 70s. The purpose of lowriding is to cruise as slowly as possible, exhibiting customized vehicles. Any association with street racers or gang members is now relevant. In reality, cruising has nothing to do with gang. Cruising has nothing to do with gang bangers. The truth of the matter is that back in the days, gang members that were running the calles were not able to afford a fucking car. Were not able to afford a lowrider at that. Lowriding is an art. Building a rampla is an arte. Everybody's on the same page. You got families, full families. The dad, the mom, the morritos. It's just a family tradition now, man. And I guess little by little being legalized. I'm glad that now we have gente that are educated and are getting to places where we need to have gente represent the Mexicanos, the Latinos. And I'm glad that we're finally waking up. Just like we had Alvarez step up to the plate, get the pen and paper and on paper, send it to the legislation, the Congress, to the table, to the council, to the people that matter, people that make decisions for the gente. Now we got cruising back. And that makes sense. Who the hell's gonna cruise? I wouldn't fucking cruise. I wouldn't go around trying to start trouble. $30,000 car? Nah. And I'm sure they're worth more fattier than that. But come on, really? You bumped your head? For example, one of my tios has a Monte Carlo, a 79, my birth year, excuse me. He gave it to me. One day I went to go help him out with some yard work. He just has it in his backyard collecting dust. And I was supposed to start working on it. One day I called him and I heard him like kind of a little like cold, like just like whatever. And I was like, okay. I talked to my jefa, and I brought up the car. My mom was like, ¿para qué quieres ese carro? Es son de cholo. It's just gonna bring you problems. So a week later, I go back to my tios to do some yard work, and we're talking. Still ask him, like, hey, tio, you sure you gave me that car? Like, I wanted some reassurance, porque I was already starting to feel like he was backpedaling. Back in the days, I gave your Uncle Paul a car, and he ended up taking it with his homeboys and messed it up. So I was like, okay, I know where he's going with this. So I left it alone. Talked to my jefa, and my jefa explains to me that my uncle is afraid that I get the car, go back to my barrio, start, I guess, messing around. Desmadre y medio. But I'm like, really? How am I going to do that? How am I going to get a car, work hard, put my time and investment on it just to go around and what? Hang around a bunch of homies that don't even care about me? They didn't even send me a postcard when I was in prison. They didn't even bother sending me a fucking JPay or some feria for a pinche top ramen. Come on, really? You know what, jefita? It's okay. Okay, cool. I left it alone. Maybe it's an excuse. Maybe I don't deserve it. Maybe it's not the time. But you know what? I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to have my rampla. Maybe not today, tomorrow. Hey, little by little. I remember back in the days, homie, cruising the Laurel Canyon, the place to be. Even with a fucking hoopty, homie. We, the homies, will pack a hoopty. At all times, for sure, you were gonna meet a hyena, meet a bunch of hyenas, or hyenas were gonna meet vatos. And back then, I'm talking about the mid-90s. In the San Fernando Valley, we had a peace treaty. Back then, you know, we had crowds. We had Barrios San Pedro over here. We had Pacoima, Blythe Street, Van Nuys. I mean, we had all different sorts of barrios, but everything was cool. Little fight here and there, but everybody was trying to just show off their cars. Now you have a lot of dudes, you know, showing off very, very expensive cars. You could tell they put in money. Maybe back then it was a little risky, little like híjole, you know, but I'm sure motherfuckers were packing just in case. Pero back then, when it came to these shows, a lot of times you had barrios, gang members, you know, rival gang members who were enjoying the art, who were taking pride in the art. You know how that goes. One fucks up, one fucks it up for everybody. So at times, it's the way to start the weekend because we would get ready, grease up, you know, the tramos, t-shirt, woo, summertime, shave the head, throw on the lokes. Back then, I had older homies that had nice Regals, Cutlasses, just on regular little rims, you know, pero nothing major, like no hydraulics, acá, woo, just the basic low riding. It would be a few of us cruising, trying to meet hyenas, take them back to the barrio, go to a backyard party real quick, or go to the party and after that, go to the canyon, pull some hyenas, bring them to the party or to the hood. And sometimes when the canyon was dead, we go to Hollywood, or occasionally we'll go to Whittier. I'm sure you had homies from Lowe's, from Whittier, también coming over here to the canyon. It was just a back and forth thing, you know. And I mean, I had a lot of fun, man. Sometimes we would post up on the corner, a bunch of homies just chilling with our gang attire, PE hats, Pittsburgh Steelers, woo, you know, representing the barrio, you know, trying to meet hyenas. Sometimes when they were stuck up, some of the homies would throw eggs at them, or in the summer we had them super soakers to fucking splash the water on them. Oh, man. All fun and games, man. But one time I tell you, man, I got in trouble. Check this out, man. The streets were blocked on Paxton and Laurel Canyon. I was feeling good. I was all pedo. And I started tripping on the peace officer. So my dumb ass just went something like this and open it up a la verga. My homie was like, cálmate, güey. Like, I don't give a fuck, woo. When I was a kid, I was a little cagapalos, man. I was a little pendejo, morro. You know how it is. We took off. We went to go get something to eat. I don't know where a bunch of Judas pull up. Oh, shit. And they come out with their guns drawn. Like, hey, put your hands up. Don't move, woo. We're like, what? No, sir. He's like, what's going on? Put your hands up. Shut the fuck up. Oh, shit. I'll put them up, get on your knees, a la chingada, and I'm like, damn, I mean, my homeboy, like, ¿qué está pasando, güey? Like, he's like, I don't know what's going on, shit. Long story short, somehow they brought the peace officer. He identified me. They were like, you're under arrest for, what the fuck is that? Terrorist threats. Guess because I just went like this, I got booked for terrorist threats. Pendejo, man. Pinches babosas que hacemos, you know, stupid shit we do, man. So that's something I'll never forget. Fucking cruising, man, you know? Yeah, luckily at the time I was still young. I didn't really have a record on me. So I got community service, probation, just a little, you know. But down the line, I heard that terrorist threats was not taken lightly. You know, people were getting time for, I guess, people really dying behind that shit. So the Judas were taking it serious. Kids, don't do that. Remember, don't tell a motherfucker you're gonna kill him. No, because you tell a motherfucker you're gonna kill them, hurt them, man, they're gonna come get you. They're gonna come arrest you, put you away, or give you time as bad as just killing them or hurting them. So sometimes it's better just to ignore the problem, the situation, and carry on, man. Because it's not worth it, homies. Get this. So if you're a wise man, learn from my mistake. Okay? Keep it hood wise, homie. Going back to from what I heard from my older homies, a lot of neighborhoods, a lot of barrios back then started behind car clubs cruising. That was the main, I guess, one of the main things youngsters used to do back in the days. Cruising, getting together, driving around, hanging out, socializing, meeting hyenas. I heard little stories from, my jefitos, my tios, older homies, that back then, when they used to cruise, it was just a bunch of raza, Mexicanos, hanging out, having a good time, respecting each other, picking up on the ladies, all that, violence, you wouldn't hear it, but it was this, just putazos, one-on-one, none of the guns or knives. It wouldn't escalate to that point, which is cool. So maybe, like they say, history repeats itself. So maybe the youngsters now that are out there cruising, hanging out on the calle, socializing, could maybe not only pick up the bad, but the good side of cruising, where the camaradas would just hang out, network. It's a beautiful thing, man, to see our gente coexist, come together and have fun, man. Porque we don't need drama. We don't need people to be out there causing trouble, man. We already been there, done that, man. Many of us. We got a lot of solid family members, homies, friends, whatever you want to consider them, behind the wall, doing time. So what does that tell you? Anybody could do time. We got a lot of solid motherfuckers. Rest in peace. So what does that tell you? Anybody could fucking do this madre and die. But to live and enjoy the now, the today, the tomorrow, the yesterday, it takes balls. ¿Me entiendes? To avoid a fight, it takes balls. Anybody could pull the trigger. Anybody could pull out a knife. Anybody could fucking fight. But it takes a wise motherfucker to hold back and be like, is this really worth it? They're killing my own gente, my raza, my brother? Nah. We gotta fucking take a grip on this fucking life. Make the best of it. I'm glad that finally cruising is acceptable. Finally, we had our gente file paperwork and get it done. And let me tell you something. Closed mouth don't get fed. I said it before and I'll say it again. We're experiencing a revolution. A lot of raza waking up. Finally, we're waking up. We're starting to see the big picture. With that said, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Letting you guys know that cruising is legal in some cities, I guess, across California. Don't quote me. Por favor, do your homework. Always do your homework, homie, regardless. You always want to be a few steps ahead. Not 1, 2, make it 13. Que no. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know your experience or what you think about cruising. If you haven't subscribed, por favor, do the homie a paro. If not, don't even trip. You know what they say, iron sharpens iron. We learn from one another, so to speak. Oh, with that said, my name is Manny. I'm the Jaguar Man. This is Hood Wise, homie. Throw it up, say. Have a good day. Much love and respect. A big, firm handshake. Ya sabes, homie. We make homies. We never break them. Al rato.
Hood Wise.